in case. Paula, welcome.
Hey, Hifi. Hi.
Fine.
Hi.
It's
Hello.
just in case I go out. Yeah.
Evening.
Yeah. Yeah. If he has some problem with charging the phone,
No,
You
Fola,
not
missed
charging.
yesterday.
mm,
My internet.
your
I've
internet.
been trying. Yes, I've been trying to top up, and
That's right.
yeah.
Okay, but
Go
are
on.
you good now?
No, I'm just telling him that I might go off.
Oh.
Yes, they said that in my current line I can't top up. I've topped up 2 times or three because some days I work night shift,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't have internet there, and
Oh.
that's why. So
Um,
most times I use my phone internet.
oh, wow. There's no hotspot that you can use.
Yes, I'm using my hotspot to
Hotspot
my
now, right now.
yes, but it's my phone internet. They don't have internet.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
So, are we ready? Yesterday we were talking about the how the business, the knowledge areas. So one because we have already completed. Let me share my screen before I talk. Okay. My screen is getting shared. Just you are able to see my PPT. Is it okay? You are able to see?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the idea was earlier we went through the introduction, and yesterday we started getting into each individual knowledge areas in deep. So that's where we started with business analysis, planning, and monitoring. So that requires we have understood how to plan the business analysis approach, and we are on to how to plan stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder engagement is one more thing that we are seeing. When we were talking about stakeholder engagement, we went through one 2 by 2 matrix. Fola, if he is depending on you for cover, if you could slightly explain later when you find time for the missing topic, she should be okay with that. So she didn't want to waste time for repeating it from
Oh,
my
no.
side.
Oh, no
Okay,
worries. Hifi, sorry, I'll share my phone number with you and we can exchange numbers later.
right,
Okay.
That's
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
right. In the in between, I wanted to show something which I showed yesterday to Fola about this stakeholder management. That is the 2 by 2 matrix. Though Fola was very comfortable about that. That is one thing I think you should understand whenever you are 2 by 2 matrix. What is meant by 2 by 2 matrix? How do you analyze that? Let me just open that for you also, and then show it before we proceed to stakeholder management in a different way. Okay, 1 second. I am just trying to get that sheet. Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one thing. I think we get that in our presentation also later in a couple of slides, but I have put it in detail. So if possible, I think if you can take a screenshot of it. It is from PMI. You don't need to. You can search PMI website also. But for simplicity, you can just take this. I have given the explanation on right side also. When you are looking at stakeholder and you want to manage a stakeholder is the person who the person either directly or indirectly affected by the project. So now you will see various people who are interested in the project, who have power in the project, and you will be disturbed whether you have to inform everybody. How do you manage all these guys? So these problems will be there. Some people, if you see this matrix, this is called 2 by 2 matrix. 2 by 2 matrix basically means two columns and two rows. So what does it indicate? On x-axis, if you see lower axis, you see interest of the stakeholder, interest of the stakeholder on this project, and power of the stakeholder on this project. Whether this stakeholder has got more power, does he control anything? He just has interest alone. So if a stakeholder has got, see here in this quadrant, there are four quadrants. Four quadrants you have to think. So generally you can look at from any direction you can pick up, because from 0 0 when you are picking up, you can pick up this. See here, if you see this quadrant, this is when you look at quadrants, if you have gone through graphs in school level, you will see this as the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, like that you see. But let us start with the third quadrant. I'll tell you what is the interest. In this case, you have got person has got low interest and low power. What do you do with such people? They don't have much interest. They don't have power also, but they will be there with you. So one person to manage, one stakeholder to manage it. But somehow he is affected by the project, but he is not interested much on knowing things, or he is not much interested in. He doesn't have much power also. So in such case, you just need to put some minimum effort. You need to monitor such stakeholders. Are they really going to influence anything, or they don't have anything? But if they want some information, you can give. It's not because control anything on the project, so you directly don't get affected by the project, by their influence. So that's the idea. If they have minimum power, minimum interest, you just need to manage them, or you just need to keep an eye on them. That's it. But there are people who have got more power. They have got more power, and but their interest is less. So you will see such people. They will be powerful. They shout at you, or they control things. They say, "I don't give you money." Suppose if you are doing the business, you would know that. So if when you want money, and you have to be, it is very very important for you to do the business next day. That time, if somebody says, "I don't give you money," when you are supposed to get money from them, then you are in trouble. So they say that you are not informed me anything, so I don't want to give you any more money. So then it will be a big trouble. So you have to always look at such people, though they have got very less interest on the project, but you need to satisfy their interests. If they want some information, you need to give. If you have to update them in any manner, you need to. If you have to invite them to see the project how it is going, you may have to do that. So whatever it is, so you have to keep them satisfied. Such people, you have to carefully handle it. There is one more segment, that is, as I said, this is the first quadrant, where the power is high, and power is high, interest is also high. These people can make or break your project, because they are the persons who are very much interested on the project. They are very much interested, they have the power also. So in such case, you have to manage them closely, and you need to ensure that things go right. Because they have got very high influence on the project, and parallelly they are interested also. So if you tell them properly, if you manage them properly, they would help you to close the project better. So you have to manage them closely. And there is another category where they have very high interest, but they don't have any power. They can't do anything for the project, but they have high interest. They'll be disturbing you with a lot of information that they require. They keep asking you for the information, all that stuff. So because they ask like that, because their interest is more, and though the power is less, you have to keep them informed. Otherwise, they'll disturb you during the project. Though they don't have much power, they can always disturb you. So it is better to keep them informed and talk to them to ensure that no major issues are arising. These people can often be helpful with the detail of your project. They can, because they are informed, they can always help you. It is the way that you want to manage them. So that's how it works. Okay, if you are clear.
Yes, I'm clear.
Very good. So we'll go ahead with what we were discussing yesterday, the continuation of that. That is how to plan stakeholder engagement. This is what we have just now, we have covered a part. And as what we were doing, plan and approach establishing and maintaining effective working relationship with stakeholder. For this, as a routine, what we'll look at is what is the purpose of this, what are the elements that are involved, and then what are the guidelines and tools, and you see what are the techniques used, and that's how we look at each of these areas, knowledge areas. We'll go through that. So now what we are saying, what is the purpose of the stakeholder, this particular one, stakeholder engagement? Why do you need to engage? If you don't engage, if you don't have good working relationship, if you don't have good working relationship, it will be difficult because stakeholders can make or break your project. So you need to identify the stakeholders, you need to analyze stakeholder characteristics, and you need to come up with how to manage the stakeholder. So you need to know what are the requirements of different stakeholders and what is your approach on business analysis. These are the inputs for this. And then you need to approach, you need to identify the stakeholders, analyze the stakeholders, but you need to establish a working relationship with stakeholders. With that, you go for planning stakeholder engagement approach. So if you first identify, list down all the stakeholders, like what we did just now, we did what is the power they have, what is the interest they have. Based on that, you decide on how to uh, engage this particular stakeholder. Now, the idea of this engagement also, I'll tell you how do you engage, whom to inform, whom to consult, all that you can decide. RACI matrix we call, that will also come, we'll see that. Now, what are the different elements involved in this stakeholder engagement? First is perform stakeholder analysis. You need to perform what are the roles of the stakeholders, and what is the attitude, what is the decision making authority, what is the level of power or influence. So this is how we were looking at that chart, the 2 by 2 matrix. So you need to, for every stakeholder, you need to map these things. Once you have mapped this, then you look at stakeholder communication needs and how do you want to communicate to them. So who should be regularly informed, who should be marked in on all project mails, who should be informed about the status only, like that. Who should be informed during the meetings only. You can call them for meetings, they inform them during the meetings. You don't need to disturb them otherwise. So like that. So you need to define how the stakeholder is expecting the information and how you want to communicate to them. So that is what is stakeholder communication needs. And planning stakeholder collaboration. These are the three elements. One is understanding the stakeholders. Second is what are the communication needs and how do you want to collaborate with them. These are the three elements of engaging the stakeholder. Okay. Now comes guidelines and tools while planning stakeholder engagement. So what are the guidelines? Business analysis, performance assessment, and change strategy and current state description. There are three things. One is business analysis, performance assessment. So how you are trying to do your business analysis and how you can improve it, all that comes under performance assessment. Is how is the performance of your business analysis, where are the gaps, everything. And then if at all you have any changes that are required, how do you want to plan the changes? That is change strategy. Any changes, suddenly somebody comes and asks for some change, how do you approach that? So that strategy should be there. and what is the current state description. That is, how is the project doing, how is the business analysis happening, where at what stage you are. So these are the things that you should always have handy when you are trying to engage the customer. You understand? So what is the, you should be able to at any point in time, when you are going for this analysis or engagement, stakeholder engagement, you should be having the information about what is the current state and what is the business analysis completion, what level you are, how much you have completed, how many days you have taken, what is the, you can have all the metrics in hand. And in case customer requires or stakeholder is expecting some changes somewhere, what is your strategy for that? So all these guidelines should be available when you are planning for stakeholder engagement. Clear?
Quick question on this.
Yes, follow.
So, what category of stakeholder would you want to be very effective with these guidelines and tools? For example, if you have a stakeholder that is in the low power, low interest
Mhm.
buckets,
Mm.
you
So
don't
you
want
don't,
to do business analysis performance assessments with
no,
them,
you don't
right?
want to do.
Or
Yes, yes.
current description and change strategy.
Yeah. So suddenly that person may ask you for current state you have to give, and that person also suggests some changes. See, though he has got less interest, less power in the project, suddenly
Mhm.
when you are giving some information, it is human to come up with some kind of alterations. He says, "I want this." So he is interested on what he wants, not the project. So then what do you do? How do you handle that case? This can happen. No? See, the stakeholders means they are not outside the beneficiaries of this project, because they are somehow beneficiaries of this project, directly or indirectly, as I told you. No? So if you look at your ERP implementation, that person, suppose you think a quality person in the organization where you are implementing ERP. Now that person cannot do any major problems to your or influence anything major in for your project, but he is the end user for your ERP. Somehow he is the user. He says, "I want this." So then what do you do? So that would not have come up earlier. Suddenly it is coming up. It may require some change, but still you need to address, right? So when such requirements come from stakeholders, you should always be ready with your change strategy. You can say, "Yes, sir, no problem." You can always raise a request, send it to your this change control board. Once it comes, we'll pick it up as a requirement. So it is how you engage them. So for engaging them, you need to have these are the guidelines and tools. So these, unless you have a guideline, you cannot talk. No, if the person asks you for a requirement for a change, you cannot say, "I can't do that change." Straight, you can't say, "No, I can't do the change." You got it, follow.
Mhm.
So you have to engage that person, because though they are not having much power, they can always influence the project in a different way. So you have to handle them, because they can go and talk wrongly about the project. They'll show their disinterest in the project everywhere, or they may say anything. So if you have to still engage them, even if they have low power, low interest, you have to engage them so that they will not cause problems to your project. They may not directly influence anything, but they may indirectly cause some problem. So you have to be careful about that. So that's where you should be able to explain. You should be aware of your current status, and also you should be having clear understanding of your change strategy. Okay. Right. There are, like what we were seeing earlier also, there are different techniques that you use for business analysis. So that for stakeholder engagement also, all these things apply, like brainstorming, business rules analysis, document analysis, interviews, lessons learned, mind mapping, organizational modeling, process modeling, risk analysis and management, scope modeling, Stakeholder list map or personas. Personas is basically you're listing their personas so that you understand that interest power mapping, survey and questionnaire, workshops. So all these things are different tools, different techniques you use for business analysis for stakeholder engagement. Okay. Any questions on this? If you got it.
I think she dropped off.
Oh, she dropped off. I didn't observe.
Yeah.
So that's why at least once in a while I keep asking so that we are aware. I'm just trying to get this my window to be along with the
Yes, yes.
participants. That somehow it is not happening. Give me a minute whether I can change the layout in such
Okay.
a way I'll be able to see. Open picture in picture mode. Change layout. Tiled, auto, spotlight, sidebar. Sidebar is the one I think. Sidebar will do. Let me see if it works. No, this fellow also is not. Sidebar also is not giving me. When I open the presentation, my
Mm-hmm.
presentation is blocking the entire window. That's
Oh,
what
wow. Mhm.
I need to do little research to avoid this. Okay, that's where I'm not able to see. If my number,
Yeah, I dropped my
you
number.
you put your number. That's okay.
Yeah, so
Okay,
that she can.
good,
Mm.
good, good.
Thank you.
Very good. Right. Okay. Let me just get into the other part of it. So you're clear with these techniques, right? So let us go ahead. Let's go ahead. Uh, Now, what is the purpose of doing this? Sorry, again, sorry, I'm very sorry. We have completed this particular one, stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder for every knowledge area, the part of the knowledge area, the overall knowledge area that we are looking at is business analysis, planning, and monitoring. And in that, we are looking at the topic plan stakeholder engagement. We have understood the purpose, elements, guidelines, and tools, techniques. These are the four ways that we are looking at each of these knowledge areas, sub points of the knowledge areas. Let us now go to organizational model. So organizational modeling is this describes roles, responsibilities, and reporting structures, and align these structures with the organization goals. It boundaries of a group. It also gives you the boundaries of a group, formal relationships between members, functional role of each person, interfaces between unit or stakeholders, common in most of the organizations. That's okay. When you are looking at multiple organizations, what is common in most of the organizations is what you look at. And what are the roles and responsibilities of each person? That is very important, because when you are taking the organization structure, when you are looking at what you want to manage, you should know who are the people whom you are addressing, and where each person's influences end, and what are the relationships between these members. All that you should be aware when you are uh, doing business analysis. Now, what are the elements which are important for you in organizational model? There are different types of organizational models. One is functionally oriented, market oriented, matrix oriented. You know this functional oriented. Have you heard of functional organization anytime about project? Especially, you should be aware of whether you are
Yes.
working as a functional. You have seen that PMP, that functional
Yes.
organization, and the what is that project organization? Have you seen that?
Project. Yes.
Projectized
Project
organization.
type. Yeah.
Yeah, you are very clear about those things.
I'm clear about that.
Mhm. So that is here it is that only. So functionally oriented, market oriented, and matrix organization. See, when an organizational unit includes interfaces with other organizational units, that's the interest here. But if you want any quick review of that, what are the different types of organizations? Because I don't want you to have any confusion. I can do that. Let us understand this first, and I'll take you through what are the types of organizations, how it would be
Okay.
interesting to you. One is,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay. Organization chart. So you can have like what we put, each box depicts organizational units, roles and responsibilities of people, and then lines depict reporting for our formal communication channel. So these are the organization model. When you're looking at what are the different types of organizations, what is the organization chart, another important thing. Now you put that example organization model like this. So who reports to whom? And when you are looking at all these things, you should also have how one department or one unit, subunit rather, department or subunit interacts with other units. So here you see program management, development. So like this, these are all there. So you should be aware of how things work. Let me give you a quick review of organizational types, because though you know it, I just wanted to take you through so that it will you will be comfortably remembering them for long. Because why I am interested in that is when I was taught this first time in the project management, they didn't explain that clearly. So that
Mm.
confusion remained in my mind. There are subtle differences which remained in my mind for long. So I was just thinking that has to be clarified. Okay.
Thank you. Take
Yeah.
that too.
Mm. So I'll just do that 1 second. Now, yeah. See, there are these are the organization. First one, what we talk about is the projectized organization. Even before that is the functional organization. What do you mean by functional organization? So here, if you see VP marketing, VP sales, VP production, suppose I have a project to be done. Like for say sales, I want to introduce one small software. So that software introduction is only limited to sales. Now I can sales VP can take up as his own job, and he can assign one of his team members for this job so that they will coordinate, they will purchase the license, they'll start using it. There is no external project manager involved. Everything is done within the functional area. Are you clear about this?
Yes.
So that means it is functional. Per se, project is not visible there. Project manager also will have limited power. So he will be, sometimes he may get this title as coordinator or expediter. But otherwise, what happens? That project manager has got her own responsibilities. She would be doing that, so she may not be focusing on to the project as such. But it can be done, but it need not be full focus. So their regular jobs will be happening, and this also will be done as part of it, as a freelancer kind of thing. Like I generally mention in this case, you are conducting a birthday party at the weekend. So you are assigned that role. But your job is regularly your accounting, and you are busy with that. You are also supposed to do that weekend birthday party in the organization. Say Friday evening, you will conduct birthday parties. So either it is in your department or organization, you are assigned with that responsibility. You will be conducting it. It is when it is done as a functional thing. You are not a separate project manager. There is nobody monitoring it. So you will do it, but your primary job becomes more important than that project, right? Second comes the projectized. The moment you say projectized, there is a team involved in that. There are separately team is identified. Just imagine the same birthday party. If I say, please don't do any of your jobs, come out. This next 1 week, you have to totally focus on conducting this weekend birthday party. So that becomes your main role. Your role itself changed. You are reporting to the project manager, and the entire team is formed for that. You have a project manager, you have a team around that, and they will be reported to the top team who is also interested in this project. So that is the projectized organization. Now, with this, what happens? All the people who are involved in the project are focused on that project only. They are not looking out. Now comes what is the problem with this projectized organization? Projectized organization, people will get duplicated. Suppose I'm running 3 or 4 projects like that. Each project has got its own team members. Especially, I'll say in construction projects, I have 2, 3 construction projects. Now I require a welder. Welder, you know the welding, right? Welding, mason, something like that.
Mhm.
Welding, welder, I require welder or scaffolder or whoever. So this guy scaffolder will not have job. Scaffolder and welders will not have job throughout the. They are required for limited period. But if I'm looking at projectized organization, what happens? I need to have a welder, I need to have a scaffolder, all that stuff. If I keep them everybody with my project, I'll be underutilizing them. Are you clear about this?
Yes, I'm clear. Thank you.
Okay, so now what is the best way? Best way is the balanced, the matrix part. Matrix is something where there is people will be working with their own departments, and you will be pulling as and when required. Like what I said, your weekend party. So apart from you, there are other people from different departments are pulled out uh, for doing this project. So your responsibility, you will be still reporting to your managers, but temporarily you are working on this with under a project coordinator. You will be working for this project. So that means whenever it is required, you will go to the project and contribute for that. You are not a permanent staff of that. Whereas in projectized one, you become a permanent staff of the project. The problem with that is once the project is over, where do you go? You should be either allocated to another project or something else, but you are afraid. What happens to my, if I have not done good job, people may ask me to go out. So then that becomes a project. But in this case, you have your regular job, but you are also contributing for the project. This is the weak matrix organization. Then comes the balanced matrix organization. If you see here, there is no defined project manager here. But when it comes to balanced matrix organization, there is a defined project manager. Now, this guy's role is to ensure that the project goes right. But unfortunately, this guy reports to the functional manager only. He is not fully reporting to his own projects or anything, because now functional manager is interested in the project, so he'll be reporting to the functional manager. But majority of times functional managers day-to-day jobs will overpower the project interest. So that's how this becomes, though it is a good one, balanced matrix organization, the weakness of this is that project manager reports to a functional manager. So now full interest is not there. There is interest, but there is no full interest. Then comes a strong matrix organization. Strong matrix organization, if you see, all project managers are, their job day in and day out is only project. They are reporting to a manager whose job is also project. Now, only thing is they'll take people from different functional organizations whenever they require for the project. Like I said, welder, mason, they'll be pulled as and when they require. Now, what is the advantage of this? Here, they can fight better because they report to somebody who is the managers who are equal also. So now, if this guy is not getting enough people, they'll rise at appropriate level and they'll fight for that. So this organization is stronger because their interests are more onto the project only, nothing else. They don't have any other interest, the managers, and they are full time into that. Whereas balanced matrix organization, project manager's interest is on the project, but his boss' interest is not on the project. That's all. You got it? The difference? So it is like
Yes.
uh,
On the strong matrix. So I thought the strong matrix will have the project departments will have their own full staff as well,
yeah,
because see
full.
that this staff, they're still reporting to the functional manager. So
Yeah, balanced case, they'll report to the functional manager. That's how it is little weak compared to strong matrix organization. Even compared to strong matrix organization, project-wise, if you look at projectized organization is stronger, right? Because
Yes.
every project has got their own people. They don't need to look out. But the only problem there is people become nervous. What happens after the project? So it is sensitive. So people cannot live in the same project even after the project is over. So they have to move out. So while moving out, they'll have their own challenges. So that's how that is a project. The limitation of projectized is that. And again, project manager becomes a big boss. He doesn't care anybody. So it becomes like yeah, he becomes strong-headed. So that's the only problem in projectized. But you look at project-wise, that is the best one for projects. If you want to get the from project perspective, if you see, that is the best one. But overall perspective, if you see, matrix organization is the best. Okay. So any difference in understanding from what you understood earlier and what you are understanding now?
Yeah, so the only difference is on the strong matrix. Like I
That's
said,
right.
I
Right.
thought the strong matrix will have their own staff in the,
That's
like,
right.
let's say that would be like a portfolio department, and you have all these project
Project
managers.
managers. That's right.
But
That's
I thought they will have their own full complement of staff. So on the strong
mm,
matrix, where I see staff reporting to the functional managers
that's right.
being pulled into projects too, my
That's right.
understanding was like the project department will have its own staff as
No, it
well.
right, right, right. It will not have. Only in the
It's
see, if you look from functional is the weakest thing from project perspective. From project perspective, functional organization is weakest. After that, next level is weak matrix. Next level is balanced matrix. Next level is strong matrix. Next level is projectized. You got this hierarchy or the
yes,
sequence. So
yes.
functional to projectized, from project perspective, functional is the least, projectized is the highest. But from advantage to the organization wise, if you look at balanced organizations or matrix organizations are the best. Matrix organization, also strong matrix organization will help for the project, but balanced matrix organization, depending on your requirement, like you don't need to, if you can't remove somebody and put them as project manager, so in that case, you will use balanced matrix organization where project manager also reports to functional manager. That's how it is. Okay.
Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you. So that is the one. So this is the only confusions that I had, like what I said. What is the difference? That subtle difference. Weak matrix organization, balanced matrix organization, strong matrix organization. There was slight confusion in that. So why do they say that way? All that. Now, if you have got it, that whether team resides with the functional organization or not, whether they have a project manager or not. If they have project manager, to whom project manager is reporting. That's how the differences would be. Now comes stakeholder list, map, and person or personas. In this case, identify stakeholders, stakeholder analysis, list of stakeholders. So this is what is important. And the stakeholder characteristics, level of authority. These are all we have discussed. But you are looking at this as a separate knowledge area, the sub knowledge area. So you will be able to have all the list of stakeholders. Right. Now, how you map the stakeholders? That's where it comes. Stakeholder mapping you need to do. RACI matrix. Have you heard of this RACI matrix? You said you have heard, no? Responsible, accountable, consulted, informed. Have you heard
Yes.
of this? Yeah. So this is
Mhm.
the way how you communicate to stakeholders. That's what you write. And then you have personas you defined. Okay, that's what you look at as the elements of stakeholder list, map, or personas. So this we have already discussed. The same mapping they have also given here. So this is another example of listing them. These are two elements that you talk. Overview is for this you need to identify stakeholders, analyze the stakeholders, and prepare the list of stakeholders. And what are the elements? Elements are stakeholder mapping, race matrix, and personas. And then comes the example we have seen already. And the stakeholder onion diagram is what it is. And this is basically what is the how it grows. That is, you are looking at solution delivery, and you need to know what is the affected organizational unit, organization or enterprise at a broader level, at overall affected external stakeholders. If you remember stakeholders, I was talking about directly or indirectly affected. So directly or indirectly affected, when you say, if you are constructing a factory, suppose, all the neighborhood are directly or indirectly affected by that project. Yes or no? All the people who are staying nearby, because sometimes they would have their land would have been taken for the factory. Even otherwise their regular routine has changed because of the factory. So whatever they had the facilities, everything, that village would have some differences because of the factory coming there. So everybody becomes a stakeholder because they are all affected by the project. So that's how it is listed. So you have customers, suppliers, regulators, and others, right? If a factory is constructed at a county, suppose that county, you got the county administrators. They are all stakeholders for the project. Yes or no? You understood this?
Yes, I understand this Onion diagram.
So
Yeah.
because they will have influence, you may have to pay taxes to them, all that stuff. So then, sponsor organization or enterprise, the sponsors, executives, domain SMEs, and others who interact with the affected group. Affected organizational unit, that is the next level. Whatever solution you are delivering, immediately who is getting affected. So then if you look at solution delivery side, you have your project team and others directly involved with the creation of the solution. When you look at affected organization unit, then you see end users, help desk, and other whose work changes when solution is delivered. So, and over and above that, you got the organization who are all interacting with this affected organization unit. So that they also are stakeholders of the project. And as I said, external stakeholders can also be there. Tracy matrix, I don't need to explain this, I think. Responsible, accountable, consulted, informed at different tasks. Who should be responsible? You know that term, why you need to consult somebody, why you need to inform, who is the responsible person, who is the accountable person. Do you know the difference between responsible and accountable person?
It's a very thin line, the
Like,
difference.
like example.
It's very close, very close.
So who is accountable? Who is responsible?
I kind
Suppose,
of
yeah,
use
let
the
me
word
explain
changing.
this.
Yeah.
You are in an account. You are in accounts department, and you are implementing ERP. Let us take that example.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for ERP consultant, you have to give the chart of accounts. Okay, you will analyze everything. You give the chart of accounts list to ERP team. Now, who is responsible for the job? You are responsible for the job of giving the chart of accounts. Now, who is accountable for that chart of accounts? Whether everything is correct. Once you have put into the ERP, whatever issues come up tomorrow, if some changes have to be done. So then, who is accountable for the entire thing? You are not accountable. You are. I mean, let me think. I'm just thinking you are a junior. Now, even if you are not junior, don't. I'm just thinking as of now, you are a junior person. So in the project, you are junior. Now you have given the say chart of accounts. Now who is responsible? Who is accountable for that? Whatever you have given, any document that you have given to the ERP team, who is accountable? Accountable basically means, for whatever future things happen, that person is questioned first, not you.
Mm-hmm.
So who is that person who will be questioned? It is your manager. Suppose you are
Yes.
a manager, your junior will be doing the job. If you are a manager, your junior will be doing the job. That person is responsible for doing the job, but you are accountable. You
Okay.
got my point. That
Yes.
clear with this?
Very clear. Yeah. Thank
Good,
you.
good, welcome. Right. Now, what is meant by persona? Persona is you need to have the total details about the person. So, if you take the fictional generalized character is what they have written here, marketing manager, 32-year-old, married, one child. You see what are the roles. Now, what is your job role? Is the first thing that you ask. What is a typical day like? What skills, knowledge, tools do you require? Who reports to you and whom do you report to? All these are role of the person. Now, what are the goals of the person? What are you responsible for? Anyway, I told you what is the responsibility and what is. So you should know what is the person responsible for. And then challenges. What are your biggest challenges in your work? And about the company, which industry does your company work in? What is the total revenue of your company? How many employees work in your company? Personal background, age, family could be single, married, children, education, and what are the preferences? How do you prefer to interact? Email, phone, in person. So this entire thing gives you the persona. So because some people will be annoyed, they say, "Don't send me any mail. Call me for a meeting. Explain." Emails will choke my inbox. I don't want to see. Or some people will say, at the end of each week, you send me the status. That's enough. Some people would say, you just call me and tell me because I can't understand what you guys write. So these cryptic things will not work for me. And some may say, you come down to my office and explain. All these things are possible, right? Right?
Yes. Are
Depending
these
upon the.
yes, are
Yeah.
these standard questions that you have to ask each stakeholder?
Yeah, yeah. These are all to understand a stakeholder. Whether you ask or don't ask is a different thing, but you should answer all these questions to get the persona of a stakeholder. That's all. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You should answer. You should answer. Business analyst should answer. But whether you get this by asking the person, that's fine. If you can't ask the person, you have some other means to get it. HR team will give you indirect ways to get the details, right? So wherever
So
it is required, yeah.
their age and their family, is that relevant to the project?
How
Do
it
I need to
affect?
ask
Yeah,
them?
do you know if you are mapping the details, you can always map. But you are not, you are least bothered about certain things like family background and all. It doesn't matter. Sometimes if you want to analyze the person, see, if you are looking at the entire person and understand his psychology. So if you are getting deep into the psychology, you can always look at it. So this fellow is a bachelor, so he is so aggressive. You can tell that way, no? Oh, this fellow is an
No.
aged person with a
Yeah.
big family, big family. So he would have a lot of disturbances at family. So he's coming to the office and shouting at people. You can.
Okay.
These are all possible. These all, if you want to understand the persona, you need to pick up. Is it compulsory for the project? It may not be required. But as a person, if you want to understand all the characteristics, everything matters when you are looking at, right? Everything matters. No, what is his background? Whether what kind of mood he'll be. So if it is, some people will be very disturbed on Monday mornings. Some people will be very happy. So it's all these things, right? So that you need to, if you get the background, you will understand all that, right?
Okay. Thank you. Makes sense.
Welcome. So this is planned. The other way, if you look at different stakeholders, if you see customer, end user, supplier, regulator, sponsor, project manager, domain expert, all these guys are stakeholders for the project. Now comes plan, business analysis, governance. Governance word yesterday I have explained to you. Governance basically means you to set the rules and ensure that these are followed. See, many times people would say the role of government is not to do the business. You heard this word? Government should
Yes.
not do the business. Government should
Mhm.
only make policies in such a way that business it should be a watchdog. It should make the policies and ensure that people follow those rules and regulations. The moment they get into the business, what happens? What happens if they get into business?
It becomes chaotic.
No, why it should become chaotic?
When government gets into business,
Mhm.
I
What is
believe
wrong with it? What is wrong with that? Lot of countries do that. Even
mm,
in India, you see a lot of government companies. Many companies were started when socialism and of course communism and socialism were at peak in the minds of the policymakers. They were thinking like initially when independence came, they were thinking that everybody should get some kind of employment. So they should provide the opportunities for employment. So government started a lot of public sector organizations. So majority of these organizations over the period, what happened? People stopped working. They started because it's governments. So everybody think government job is relaxing job. You don't need to worry. You go at your leisure. You come out at your you work as per the rules. So you need to work extra. And there is no pressure. All that. So if government gets into business, it will be like that. Now,
mhm,
if a private company has to be controlled. Say if they have done some mistake or they are not following some rule. Now, what they will do first thing, a private company will look at the government company, and then say if that public sector company is not punished, you cannot punish me. If you want to punish that company also, close that company also. Don't close me. This is another thing that happens, no? So you are giving some mechanism, some way for others also to look at. So if you are doing business, you should do business in such a way that you are following all rules and regulations. Now, if you follow everything, it becomes very difficult for you to achieve the end goal. So naturally, when private sector violates these things, you will not be able to control them if you are also into the same business. Right? You got that? That is the reason people say don't do business. If you do, government should not do business. Government should only control.
mhm,
Control.
control.
That's it.
Mhm.
So you got this concept, no? Why government should not do business?
Yes, I got it.
But it is sometimes it becomes inevitable for governments to do business because yeah, they want to they look at different ways to help people. So in the larger interest of public, they may get into the business, but as far as possible, they should be away from doing the business. If you are doing the job, you cannot control it. That's the simple thing. The quality control, quality side also, it's like that. If a quality guy comes and starts doing the project work, can he find the mistakes? See now a programmer, if you understand software, I hope ERP and all you understand. If a programmer does a job, if a third party looks at that job and she can easily find out what are the problems. But for a programmer to find out what mistake she has done, it will be very difficult. You understand this?
That's true. Yes.
Yeah, because she is already programmed in a way how she has to test. I used to tell all my teammates, if
Mhm,
a programmer tells you to test like this, see these programmers what they do, they are very clever enough. They go to quality guys and tell you test this way. This is the way you need to test. I will tell them don't test that way at all. You put in totally different way and test it because your quality guy's job is to break it. So the programmer's job is to ensure that what she has done is correct.
mhm,
So that's the confusion. I always suggest your mind should be free. For quality, when you are testing, your mind should be free because when it goes to public, they will not. They do as they like. They don't come and tell. They don't come do what you say to do. Like you got a car, and in the car, how you need to drive, a lot of people will prescribe. You need to press clutch like this. You need to put accelerator like this. Will you do the same way? You do as per your convenience. And if it allows you, you do like that only. So system should be able to take care of such things also. You cannot 100% prescribe and say you have to do like this only when somebody is using the product. So that's how the person who has done it, if she tests it, she may not find everything. The person who tests need not see what is developed. So how, no, it need not go by the development thing, and she need not do the development. That's how it is. So if she doesn't do the development, she will have a fresh perspective to test it. The same way governance is also like that. If you government does not do the business, they can always make policies. So right.
Sorry, I'm just curious. So who writes
Yeah.
the test? Who writes the test cases? Is that the business analyst too?
Business, no, it should be quality person, but it can always help. Business analyst can always explain to quality team to write the test scripts. Sometimes business analysts also will write, but it is not business analyst job. It is the quality person's job. If I have to test it, I need to write what I want to test, not someone else writes it.
Okay.
This is like what I told just now. See, a programmer has if programmer writes test scripts, how it will be? You tell me. Even business analyst writes also. It may be like that. Your requirement, whatever the requirement that you have prescribed, you need to elaborate your requirements. That's all. As a business analyst, now if a quality guy goes through that, she should understand what it is. Quality person should understand what you have written. If quality person has a problem with the requirement itself, she has to come to you for more details. If the understanding of quality person is not matching with what business analyst has written, that means there is some problem in the way that business analyst has written that. Right? You need to have in mind that anybody who is not directly involved in your business analysis should be able to understand what you have written. So that's important thing. What you have written, anybody should be able to read and understand. That's how, if they can read and understand, they will be able to prepare the test script easily. If they have confusion, they have to come to business analyst and get it. And business analyst should, why I am saying business analyst should not write test script is, you are already biased, right? Business analyst is already biased with what she has written, no?
That's true.
So that's the reason business analyst should not write. May if
Yes.
you get in the interview question like this, you can always say you are already biased with the requirements that you have written. So it should be the quality person who has to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Right, welcome. Business analysis approach and stakeholder engagement. This one is, we are talking about governance. So what is the purpose? Purpose is to ensure that governance approach you should get. For that, what are the inputs that you take? You need to have business analysis approach and stakeholder engagement approach, and how decisions are made about requirements and designs, including reviews, change control, approval, and prioritization. With all that, you frame the governance approach. The governance, can you give me an example of governance approach? Anything that you want to, what is meant by governance and how you approach it? Example, where you require this governance.
My little understanding of governance, based on what you've been talking about since yesterday, I'm thinking probably as an example, how you want to, control information that you give to your stakeholders,
And
how to keep requirements, how to secure requirements, the kind of filing, how you want to keep them, or I don't know. I'm kind of confused right now.
right, the major thing is, suppose if you have any reviews to be
Oh, sorry, you're breaking out. Sorry, you're breaking out.
conducted.
Sorry, I can't hear you anymore. Hello? Sorry, I don't hear you.
See, governance could be how you want to communicate to your stakeholder. Is it okay now? Oh, okay, okay. Let me. Uh, am I audible now? Hello.
Yes, I heard you now. Yes, I can hear you now.
Governance basically is see how do you every day, sorry, every week or every day, how do you communicate to people? So there is a governance. You need to send at the end of every day's meeting. You need to send minutes of meeting. That is one rule. Now, have you sent or not? Somebody has to check, right? How do you review that? These are the approaches. Second is change control board. All changes should be referred to change control board. Whether changes are sent to change control board or not is a governance approach, right? You got
Okay.
it, Ola? Like that,
Yes.
look at.
Mm-hmm.
So different elements are change control process, plan prioritization approach, plan for approval, decision making. Say this plan prioritization approach. All the requirements have you prioritized or not? So you have to prioritize is a statement. Now somebody has to prioritize, no? If that is not done, that has to be questioned. Say governance is you have to prioritize is a governance, the rule. So that rule has been followed or not, somebody has to check. That is the approach, governance approach. Okay, I think we
Okay.
are running out of time. So if you have any questions, I'll take. Otherwise, we'll catch up tomorrow.
Yes, I'll go over this tomorrow before the next class, and I'll let you know if I have questions.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate your time.
Right. Good
Okay.
night. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Take care. Have a good
Okay.
day.
Bye.
Have a good night for you. Be happy. Thank you.